Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
Hello and welcome to episode 105 of Mythos Busters. I'm Sean. Joining me on this glorious Sunday morning is Ian. Hey Ian, you're earliest, so I went with you first.
Yep, I'm here. It certainly is a morning.
You got your coffee? You got your elixir of life? I'm clinging to it with both hands right now.
I wish I did. I don't have time to make it, so I just have water. Just not even ashamed of itself for just being water instead of coffee.
I do love a good shameless water. Joining us as well is Scott. It would be the next earliest since we have that theme here. Hey Scott.
Hello.
How you?
Good. Ian, I also did not have time to make coffee, so I also have some shameless water.
Aw.
I'm missing the coffee, though.
I could give you guys the rest of my pot, I would.
Is it legal there now?
Oh, all right. I see what you did there. And joining as well is Nick. Hey, Nick. We're on the same time zone.
Hello. Yeah, I had time to make coffee, but I, too, am drinking water.
Wow.
We're an exciting bunch.
Yeah.
High energy.
Sunday morning water.
Guys, we're so goddamn old. Anyway, we've got an extra fun episode for you guys today at this hopefully European-friendly recording time. We've got some names in the chat that we don't normally see, so hey, everyone. We have our normal updates that we're going to do, and then today's discussion topic is going to be our run-through of Horror in High Gear. And then, of course, we'll round it out with some Tentacle time. I'm just going to go ahead and make the assumption now. We're probably just going to be talking about Mass Effect the whole time. If not this episode, maybe on 106. We'll see. All right, boys. But before we do any of that, let's get through our normal topics. So just a couple quick updates here. First thing, Dissonant Voices is currently caught up through Horror in High Gear. Light in the Fog is done, and it's on YouTube. It's going to be uploaded to Arkham Cards soon, and then Lair of Dagon is forthcoming. And then, of course, whenever I get a hold of the final pack, whenever we get a hold of Into the Maelstrom, that will be up there as well. Return to the March to Madness is basically done. By the time you hear this edited episode, chances are we will either be done or about to announce the winner. So if you haven't voted yet, sorry you may have missed it. I don't know. Maybe we'll get this out tomorrow on Monday. We'll see. But we're going to be announcing the winner live on Twitch Tuesday night. So go follow us out there if you want to see the live announcement, or obviously check out the recording on YouTube afterward.
Trish versus Stella.
All right.
Battle champions.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so I think those are the kind of the quick hits, guys. I kind of want to talk to you about some Arkham. Like, it's been a quiet couple weeks. We missed a recording weekend because life got busy. What have you guys been playing?
I've been continuing my solo Yorick through Dunwich, and it's been doing okay. I am still always flabbergasted whenever I go back to Dunwich at how little XP you get.
Yep.
And wow, that is like trying to get blood from a stone, because
it's the delve too deep tax.
Well, and I can't with Yorick, right? So right. I have his, bury them deep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've pulled it off only twice. But I think I'm, JP mentions in chat, double versatile. No, I'm not taking versatile, an investigator that doesn't draw cards like a maniac. It just makes the rest of the deck terrible. And then I wouldn't get normal VP anyways. Yeah, I just passed Essex, and I actually was able to win Essex due to the amount, like I kind of teched a bit for Essex just due to the amount of wild and stuff I put in the deck, as opposed to other cards.
Sure.
Yep. So heading into Blood on the Altar, I think I have a grand total of 11 XP after 4 scenarios. Oh boy, that's light.
Yeah, I mean, and you can do a decent amount with 11 XP with the Survivor, but still, that's unfortunately little. What are you using for clue acquisition in Yorick? Are you doing like crows and shovels, or?
I should really pull up the list, but I know I'm using Scene of the Crime.
Sorry, ravens. It's a raven, right?
Yeah, I'm not using the ravens actually.
Gotta be using the shovels though if it's Yorick.
Guys, stop quarterbacking me. I'm just pulling it out.
Go back, start the campaign over again, and do it right, Scott.
Yeah, noted theme player Scott will make sure to include shovels.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got Greet to work with Scene of the Crime and On the Hunt. Plus I have Evidence. So Greet is like I mull hard for Greet.
Wait, what? What? No, what is this?
Oh, you mean Greta?
Oh, the Guardian. Okay, God. I've never heard that as Greet in my head. So you said Greet, and I'm like, what the fuck card is that?
Greet.
What is Greet? Okay, I got you.
Greet is the super anglophoned. Great,
Yeah.
Great Wagner. Old Keyring, because it's like a flashlight and the thing is, because you're solo, it doesn't take that much to how many clues do you need per game? Like 7?
Right.
8? So Old Keyring is like guaranteed 2. Greet's gonna get me at least 2. I put flashlights in there. I didn't actually use shovel. I find shovel it takes too long.
A little slow.
But I do have 2 perceptions there. Take the initiative. Yeah. So.
Okay.
And look what I found as well. Combined with Old Keyring and stuff like that. Like Old Keyring, you fail it, you get the charge back, but you look what I found. It's pretty sweet. So.
And look what I found is pretty good in Dunwich, because Dunwich, I think, to my memory at least, has a fair few locations with 2 per.
Mm-hmm. I think it's
and
second,
a couple with 3 even.
I think it's second next to Carcosa. I think someone did the math and said Carcosa has the most 2-fers.
Carcosa has the most 2 per. Interesting.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dash Scott 2021.
Probably. Yeah.
Ian, how about you?
Well, the most recent campaign I've been doing involves a little investigator named Finn. And so I always try to do at least one run through a campaign with Finn, and so now it was his time to take on Innsmouth. And this deck is a little bit different than my usual Finn deck, and it all started actually with in our Patron chat. Here's a plug for our Patron chat. The Black Horror in our Patron chat put out an idle comment about, well, I don't know if it was idle or not, but a comment about how potentially good Think on Your Feet could be in Innsmouth. Because as we all know by now, enemies engaging you is bad, and Finn is an evade-focused investigator, and it's something I've discovered as someone who plays a lot of evade-focused investigators. Innsmouth can be kind of rough because with an evade strategy, if you may evade them, but if you're still at that location and they come back, they ping you for a damage or horror or whatever it is when they come back to engage you. So Think on Your Feet can help get away with that. So then I started thinking, what if I created a whole deck based around just trying to avoid engagement in the first place? And so that was the birth of my Can't Touch This Finn deck. So it has Think on Your Feet, but then I said, okay, what else is there? So I have Hiding Spot in there, which has been clutch in a few scenarios. I put in Decoy, because you can evade enemies from afar, essentially. Like if it's a hunter enemy going to come at you. And the nice thing about Decoy, too, is it's one of those cards where I often didn't think about to use with Finn, but because it is an evade action, you can use it with his free extra evade. And so, all of a sudden, I've used it like his free action to evade 2 enemies. If you pump up Decoy and you're spending 4 and you're evading two at once, or to do that kind of strategy where you're evading enemies from far away. And then I got Slip Away in there. I think those are the main kind of cards. But
how about Think on Your Feet? Where are you at with Think on Your Feet?
That was the original card that I put in this deck.
Okay,
yeah,
well.
That was the first one. And so, excuse me, it's early.
Water.
I need some of that H2O.
Need some of that diet water.
So it has ended up, doing a lot of the similar Finn things, because the other cards are what you might expect, or at least what I might expect. But one of the things I love about Arkham, since the deck size is kind of small, like 30, like if you tweak like 6 cards or 8 cards or whatever, even 4 cards, the deck will still feel different because it's small enough to make an impact. So yeah, it's actually been really successful in Innsmouth, or as I'm now calling it, Finnsmouth. The Finnsmouth conspiracy. And I've had a couple of scenarios where I've, all of a sudden you're stringing out enemies among like 3 locations, and it's just like a line of enemies. But with Track Shoes combined with this free evade action combined with Hiding Spot, all of a sudden I'm able to zip past, those 3 enemies and escape and get away. So the highlight of this deck so far is somehow in Devil Reef and solo I managed to get all 3 of the, what are they called, relics, special assets, for the first time. Which before I was like, I'm never gonna do that, that's impossible, but somehow he managed it. So yeah,
when I soloed that with Diana, my deck was firing and I only got 1. It's intense.
Yeah, I mean, granted, if you're going to pull it off, you need a fair bit of luck. Like, I kept running into the tidal tunnel locations where you get the keys. But still is quite the achievement, and being able to avoid enemies, I think, was helpful in that. So I'm really enjoying this deck so far. I'm kind of curious now, because this has been heavily teched for Innsmouth, to see how it holds up in other campaigns.
I imagine it'll do fine.
Yeah, I mean, generally avoiding enemies is a good thing.
Because here's the thing with Innsmouth, and maybe it's better suited for a broader discussion at the end of the cycle, but I feel like Innsmouth is... It's not like the enemies have less health or hit less hard when they actually attack. Like, all of those engage effects are just already tacked on to what are pretty normal enemies. It's not like they're weak in some other way. So, I don't know. Yeah, so like the crazy avoidance or the focused avoidance, like what you're describing, or I think Innsmouth, I don't know. It might finally be the healing cycle where it's worth bringing healing effects that in the past we said were too slow. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, just either healing or just I've taken way more soaks than I might otherwise. Like in the Finn deck, I put in Leather Jacket where I might have left it out before, but I'm like, nope, need it in Innsmouth.
Yeah. Nick, how about you? What you playing?
So I was originally just going to say, well, I haven't played any Arkham, but then I realized that I missed a recording, I think. So I actually do have some Arkham to talk about. I completed my Return to the Forgotten Age, which I don't think I mentioned to the listeners. I know I talked about it in Discord because I was complaining like crazy about Shattered Aeons and how fun that scenario is. Return to the Forgotten Age was my Leo and Trish, and they did amazingly up until... they had some trouble with City of Archives because it was no longer Leo and Trish. And just because that, especially Return to City of Archives, that's just wow. There's a lot of space, a lot of ground to cover in that map, in that scenario, and a lot of things to do. And they both came out of it fine, which was good, but it was a slog. And then Shattered Aeons was, I mean, it happened. It definitely happened. They have the scars to prove it. But here's the thing, is I set out for that to be my Turn Back Time campaign. And then I failed Shattered Aeons. So then I immediately said, no, I succeeded Shattered Aeons. Because I'm not doing this again. I want to play Turn Back Time. So I did.
That is exactly what happened to me last time I tried to make that work.
It's hard.
And we did it in front of people.
Oh,
How dare you ever cheat to get Turn Back Time? How dare you?
it's hard.
How could you do that?
So I went and I played Turn Back Time. And it's not... No, it was bad. Like, from the word go, it was bad. It was not fun.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god, I don't even know. So I'm done with that campaign.
It's funny because I remember when we were doing remember we were trying to guess that game where we were trying to guess each other's answers, and one of the questions was, what's the hardest scenario? And I put Turn Back Time, but I don't think like a bunch of you had played it.
No.
Or forgot about it or something. And it's like, it's just like, you start the campaign and it's just punching you,
it's
the scenario. It's just punching
immediate.
you in the face from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then I started my, my Circle Undone campaign, since I am determined to play Clutches in Chaos or Clutches of Chaos before Return 2 comes out. So I started that campaign. I'm only 2 scenarios in, plus the prologue. Daisy and Rita. So here's the thing. I know Circle Undone. I know it pretty well, for the most part, especially like the first 4 scenarios. I know them really well. And I decided that my Daisy build, I wanted to do Daisy's Miskatonic Book Club, where the whole point is a bunch of tomes and a bunch of Miskatonic allies, that sort of thing. Try that. Well, in the final act of The Witching Hour, the first scenario in Circle Undone, I reached this moment where I realized that neither of my decks had the proper damage output to take care of whatever the lead witch's name is. And...
Annette?
Yes, Annette. And because of this particular Daisy build, I didn't have super fast clue acquisition to clear the ritual site, or whatever it's called. So I had this moment where I was literally spending whole turns either evading witches or drawing in my deck, trying to find something to help me through. And I was like, I didn't pack a solution to either of the options in this. Like, what was I thinking? Like, who brings Daisy and only does 2 copies of deduction and that's it? Like, this isn't my first game of Arkham. I've built decks before. I know this scenario, and I just flubbed it. Holy cow. So Witching Hour was rough.
The evidence points to the contrary.
So Witching Hour was rough. And then I did At Death's Doorstep, which was successful. And I think I'm lying to the Lodge. I can't remember now. But anyway,
as you do.
Yeah, so that's fun. And then, as anybody who has listened to our RSS over this last week, I played the Return to the Devourer Below with Gloria on Expert Pacifist. And I don't want to give anything away, but if you were like, man, I really want more Achievement Hunter content, you're in luck. Because the amount that I have left to do for Night of the Zealot just doubled.
Oh no. Oh no.
It was I think it's the shortest episode I've ever recorded. For Achievement Hunter. And not only that, I'm going to, so I talked about how Turn Back Time, how I was like, no, I actually succeeded Shattered Aeons, even though the campaign log says everything to the contrary. I'm going to key in our listeners here. I actually recorded Return to the Devourer Below 3 times because the first one was over in 10 minutes and I was like, this isn't real. We're going to do it again. So I did it again and it was over in like 12 minutes and I'm like, no, I'm not doing Expert again. So those first 2 runs didn't even make it into the recording because I wanted to give the illusion that it was my first try. I should have just left everything in, all the swearing and all the, token throwing and all that, but
people do seem to appreciate the humanity of your failure.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it except for the fact that I'm playing with
do the whole campaign over again.
Yes, because I'm playing with 2 ultimatums that basically mean if you fail a scenario, then you're dead. Like you have to do everything over again. And because I chose those ultimatums, I didn't want people to be like, oh, he's ignoring the ultimatums, that achievement, that sort of thing. Like, the whole point is to do it legit, but I didn't do it legit. I tried 3 times, I even cheated, and I still failed. So I need to, yeah. So Gloria, I'm still going to do Gloria for expert, but the next episode of Achievement Hunter is going to be me reassessing which achievements I'm actually going to try and tackle in expert. And maybe be a little more strategic with that, so.
I just love the community, like, coming together around you as you were nailing your face into a wall with Preston.
Oh, God.
Does Nick need help? Can anyone reach out to
I was stuck in a feedback loop. Like, there was no getting me out of there for the longest time. I was just like, all right, it's Arkham. That means Preston. Let's go, Preston. And, oh, God.
Nick knows there's other investigators, right? Like, just...
Retro Daniel brings up the ultimatum of Dread, which is the one that you don't skip the first Mythos phase. That in expert... that has caused more stress for my Arkham games in Achievement Hunter than anything else. So I might try and find a different ultimatum to replace that one. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's a valiant endeavor nonetheless. And then for my part, I've got a few different irons in the fire for Arkham purposes. Last time I talked about my Parallel Agnes deck, I actually had like several people reach out for that list. I provided them the one that I have, but I want to tweak it a little bit, and then I'm actually going to publish that thing. So I guess I'll talk about it a little bit more when I do. But today, I want to talk about, I have a Dream Eaters 8-part campaign with solo Stella and solo Wendy. Ooh. And it's been an interesting campaign. So on the Stella side, this is literally just me trying Stella solo for the first time. So it's a pretty basic all-around build. And she's Waking Side, and she's just getting demolished. Like, Scott, you know how our Waking Side campaign is going in TNA?
Yeah.
Same energy. Exact energy.
I feel like that's just Waking Side, though. It's like, when you compare it to Dream Side, it's just rougher. Yeah.
Dream Side is like a journey, and Waking Side is like you're being chased.
Yep. Yeah, so she got knocked out. She got knocked out with physical trauma in... what's the first scenario? Waking Nightmare. Mm-hmm. And I had Dr. Maheswar on, so she took a mental trauma as well. And then got knocked out on the stairs in the Thousand Shapes of Horror. Managed to get a decent amount of XP along the way. I think she's sitting at like 14, 15 XP despite having failed both scenarios, so that's okay. That's a plus in Dream Eater's column. But it's been a rough go. So I understand that Stella's pretty great, but ooh boy, I could use a little more of it. Now on the Wendy side, however, that has been really fun. So my whole the deck started as like I call it anxious avoidant Wendy. Where it's actually probably pretty similar in theme to your deck, Ian, where it's pretty much I don't plan to take on any enemies. It's track shoes and it's survival instinct, and think on your feet and bait and switch and just all of these little tricks to just be like, nah, I'm not going to deal with you. I'm just going to kick that enemy can down the road. And it has ended up kind of morphing more into being closer to trying to emulate like a Dubs, like a speed run deck. And she's fast. She's probably not as fast as Ursula, but ooh boy, this is one of the faster decks I've ever made, so that has been really fun. I completed all 4 regions of Kadath. Is that what we call them, regions?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't get all the victory points. I deleted a couple locations with clues on them, but yeah, it was the first time I've ever done that solo, so nice. It's been quite fun. But yeah, that's me. So I'll check back in on that Agnes deck. All right, before we move into patron stuff, we had a hotline prompt from last week, and I actually forgot a response from the week before that I want to get to. So if you'll remember, the week before, I had asked, what role do you enjoy playing in Arkham? So we actually have a couple late responses to that, which I'll pop into chat.
Ooh, no. We can all listen together.
Oh, yeah. All right, gonna hit play on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, Mythos Busters. This is Eric from Whispers in Your Head, the podcast / YouTube channel that technically exists. Regarding what role I like to play as the most, I'm assuming what you mean by that is, do you like to play the killer or the clover or something in between? And for me, it's always something in between that I prefer to do. I like playing Survivor a lot, mostly because I like to be able to do a little bit of everything. And I really like not having a safe option, not having something that is, I know I can always, kill or get clues. I like to feel like I solved a puzzle when I'm finding a way to be successful against all odds. That makes me feel really accomplished when I manage to do something. And I find that the game kind of gets a little bit boring when it's like, okay, well, I'll take my turn and I'll, 95% of the risk is removed. I'm just going to be successful on whatever I need to do. Because then you're much less likely to have those super dynamic moments where you're, on the edge of your seat pulling a token out that you're pretty sure you're going to fail, but every once in a while you slam down a token and everybody cheers around the table. Anyway, I hope that's what you guys meant, and I really love the podcast, and I hope you keep up the good work. Bye.
I think that is a really interesting point he made about playing the type of investigator where you kind of feel like you have to reach for it a little bit instead of just like, I have a 5 and a stat. Because I feel that a bit. There are some games where that's what I want.
Yeah.
Does 4 count as reaching for it? Like 4 in a stat?
I guess that's pretty subjective. I don't know. If you consider like the standard difficulty of a test to be 3, obviously it varies, but only 1 up on a test if you're playing on standard, that's not a great place to be. So I'd say that's probably a minor reach.
The smallest of reaches. Yeah.
I think that kind of goes to what he's talking about. Like, it's probably not as much of a reach if you're going like dedicated killer than you're teching heavy in combat, let's say. So your 4 suddenly becomes whatever, like 7 most of the time. But if you are playing that kind of in between and trying to take on different roles, then you're not doing that as much. So I don't know, but sounds like we have another Flex fan, and that's usually where I like to live as well.
Yep.
I definitely like occupy both ends of the spectrum. Like, my 2 favorite investigators are Roland and Luke. So I like the guy who's just good at Arkham, and I like the guy who invites totally weird builds and is all just jankery up the wazoo. So I
Who literally breaks our...
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So yeah, I totally get it.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So if you remember, this week's prompt is... Oh boy, what did we do? What cards are you just vibing on right now? There we go.
Hey, this is David. Just wanted to call in and say what card I've been enjoying recently. I've been enjoying the Mystic Tabooed Scroll of Secrets since they changed it to fast trigger. It's 3 experience, but it's really nice. You put it into play for an action, and then you pretty much get to draw 4 free cards. And if you get a weakness, you just discard it. It's pretty awesome. I don't know. I've been playing it in a lot of decks, and if I draw a weakness, I feel really good about it. Can combo with a bunch of stuff too, like throw in a Summoned Hound and Alyssa, and you can keep looking at the top of your deck for free every turn. Find a weakness, use the scroll, discard the weakness. Summoned Hound never is an issue. Or just use Alyssa in combination with it, and then just never deal with the weakness for the rest of the game. Or use it for its base ability and draw 4 free cards that are weakness free. I don't know, been really loving it. Even the level 0 version, still draw 3 cards, can't be a weakness. Fast, and the Seeker one's good too. That's look at the bottom 3. Pick 1, put 2 on top. I just think that's been really doing it for me recently. And mostly I agree with everything Scott said about those overrated cards.
Yes!
I'm always confused why people auto-include them in every deck. And then the last prompt, I swear that you said what was your favorite rule to play? RULE? And I was very confused, and I was trying to figure out, that's an odd question. But then when I heard the last one, I was like, oh, he meant role to play.
I am a career mumbler.
I listened to it like 3 times trying to figure it out. Anyway, yeah, I've wanted to call him before, but I keep forgetting. Maybe you should do like a Facebook post, or maybe you did and I just missed it, to remind people and what the prompt is. Because this time I called in a little late, and I was like, what was the prompt again? I had to go fast forward through the recording to remember what it was. Anyway, those are my few comments.
He also plays like me, where he chooses which rules he's going to play this game.
Our trick is actually to mumble them, so you have to listen twice to ups our numbers.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, though. We should post it somewhere on Facebook and Discord and pin it and everything like that. So
it wouldn't be the worst idea we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
But Mystic Scroll of Secrets is really good. Can confirm.
Yeah.
I did try it out a bit. I've had it in Gloria because she can kind of two-way it with the encounter deck. I think it was Debbie who mentioned using it in Lola as kind of a silver bullet for her weakness. You know, I still have opinions on investigators that need a silver bullet for their weakness to be playable, but it is a good option.
I mean, doesn't Diana run, what do you call it? Deny existence, like, all the time for her weakness?
Okay, look,
I gotta hang on to this one for when my weakness shows up.
Okay, I have a problem
She would
with
run it
investigators that
anyway.
need a silver bullet. Unless I love that
Yeah.
investigator, then it's okay.
Yeah. But anyway, solid card. I really, really like the taboo for the kind of, I don't want to say correcting, but kind of adding cards back into the conversation that we've kind of written off, because in this case it was just far too slow. Far too slow.
Yeah, absolutely. I do enjoy the Scroll of Secrets now, especially. Like, all of them being fast, like, it just, yeah, they're all great. So,
Yeah,
they're way more playable.
That taboo, turned it from nigh unplayable to actually playable. Even though I haven't actually tried it yet, but I would actually think about it now.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got one more. I'll throw it in here.
Hey, Busters. Chris, a.k.a. Big Kahuna 216 here. My favorite player card is Shrewd Analysis. It is by no means the mechanically optimal choice to use when upgrading your Seeker side quests. However, it fits my criteria of allowing me to efficiently spend my experience by giving a 50% discount on those upgrades. It also fills a nice thematic purpose. When you have a Vial of Strange Solution, you wouldn't be able to just discover that it's acid every time. You have to discover what's actually in the vial, testing and experimentation. On another note, assuming that March Madness is still happening, I want to take a second to tell everyone to vote for Mandy, Daisy, and Ursula. As there's no Seeker advocate regularly on the podcast, someone had to champion our Yellow Queens. Thanks.
Oh boy, who's gonna tell him?
Well, that aged like milk.
Good job, everybody, voting for them Seekers.
Sorry, Big Tuna.
We're so sorry, Chris. We're so sorry.
Yeah, considering a Seeker won last year, the Seeker group did not so great this year.
Yeah.
That happened.
It's kind of funny. I do think there is an element of like certain archetypes or cards or maybe investigators, maybe even entire factions, given the right circumstances, kind of like wear out their welcome a little bit, kind of grate on people's goodwill. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that changes though. I feel like there was a time where everyone was down on Guardians because Guardians had like all these crazy weapons and all these great fighters and stuff, and you could have one Guardian in a 3 to 4 player game handle everything, and I felt like everyone just suddenly gave up on Guardians and tried to make everyone else fight. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like, it was just an undertone I noticed, but yeah, the ebbs and flows of the general community's view on builds or classes. Totally, yeah. But
Yeah,
shrewd analysis.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Oh no, go Ian, because you're probably gonna say something about rogues who haven't had their time in the sun.
Well, I was just if you want me to talk about rogues, I will. But I was gonna say the
They're all too
meta,
pale.
the meta behind March to Madness each year. I'm speaking like it's gone on for many years, but it will
All
in the
2 years
future.
of it.
All 2 years of it, but each time there's been kind of this like background. Like game or context going on of like whatever's happening in the community at that time, and so it's really interesting that it's, you know, we've obviously never marketed it as some scientific analysis. It's not that at all. It's the exact opposite. It's just fun, like do whatever type thing. But part of that is, yeah, you get maybe a weird reaction against a certain class or certain investigator, and they don't go as far as you might think originally.
I'm surprised that, like, I had Seekers going farther this year. Like, I had every class, kind of like a few champions from each class going in, but yeah, it was a crazy upsy-downsy this year.
Yeah.
But shrewd analysis.
Shrewd analysis.
Go, Scott.
I enjoy shrewd analysis a lot, especially for certain Seeker side quest upgrades, like the Dream Diary.
Yes, agreed.
Like that one every time. Like I don't like the bonus of the Dream Diary, like the 3 specific ones. What is it? 4 Shroud, 8 cards, or an enemy engaged with you.
Yep.
Like I don't really care as much about that. Like they're nice, but I don't care as much about that as just getting a free unexpected courage every single turn. Without having to use an action for it. It just pops into your hand. So I don't really care what I get. Like I'm hoping for a couple, but to cut down on the XP on that one, absolutely shrewd analysis.
Yep.
Also, shrewd analysis is
I
the
just wanna
only
say-
way that some of those upgrades get played. So
It's true.
Responsible for me actually playing Freezing variant.
I just want to say I enjoy and would love to see more cards like Shrewd Analysis and like Arcane Research and just kind of stuff that cards that you include that don't actually go in your deck but still warp or change the way your deck progresses or plays or looks. I love those kinds of permanents.
Yeah, I do tend to use shrewd analysis. For me, it really depends on the investigator build. Like, if that particular upgraded asset, whatever it is like kind of crucial to the deck. Say it's too early to think of the name. The one that lets you get extra clues if you succeed by 2. You know, something like that that's actually pretty integral to your deck. But if it's just, this is, you know, a neat card, it'll probably add power to my deck, but I don't particularly care which one, then I'll trigger a yield shrewd analysis.
A key thing, there's one big thing too is shrewd analysis is you may upgrade a second copy at no experience cost. So you can throw it in your deck if you're going to run a secret side quest. And when you go to upgrade, you can make the decision then. So you can just always just throw it in. And I've also used Shrewd Analysis once to balance out a Lola deck where I had 6 Seeker cards in it. And like I had the deck perfectly how I wanted. I was like, oh wait, Shrewd Analysis, done. And now I had the 7 of...
God, that counts toward cards. That's interesting.
Yep. So
permanents are weird.
I think that's a really interesting way to like kind of bend and flex Lola's deck building, where you can have permanents that you may or may not use. Because I wasn't planning on doing any of the side quests with Lola. It was just I just need to balance out the deck. Shrewd analysis done.
Huh.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you everyone for calling in. Next week's prompt is a little bit more meaty because it's actually going to tie into next episode's topic. So get it in quickly if you have an opinion. Next week, we're going to talk about that most noble of mental endeavors, which is changing your mind when presented with better evidence. So what cards I know, right? What cards have you changed your mind on? Either you started real hot on them and they didn't quite live up to what you wanted them to be, or you panned them at first and eventually learned to love them. We want to know what cards you have changed your mind. And we're going to talk about that as our discussion topic next time. So you guys get to actually throw in, and we'll probably intersperse voicemails in our actual discussion. We'll see. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, call that into the Mythos Busters hotline ASAP, because we're probably going to be recording pretty quickly, more quickly since we missed a week in our normal cadence. So that's 203-493-6984 or 203-493-MYTH, or hop on our Facebook page and just hit that call button. What cards have changed your mind? Ian, what patron news have we?
First off, let's give a shout out to our board members. That is Chris B, Chris H, and Chris M, our conglomeration of Chris's. Morton, Jared, Ian, Kyle, Philip, Dave, Abilio, Jesse, Chad, and Robert. Thanks so much for your incredible support of the podcast. And a special shout out to a random patron. This time around goes to Sean Walsh. Hey, there's another Sean. Thanks, Sean.
Oh, and he spells it right too.
Yeah. And let's see other things. If you have never been to mythosmerch.com, make sure you head on over there and check out the variety of interesting merch we have there. We have posters, t-shirts, other assorted things. I always laugh at the poster picture because the poster that's on the Mythos merch, because the poster is like kind of small on the wall and there's this huge plant next to it, so it looks like people are buying the plant. But no, we're not yet selling plants. Soon.
Also, point of interest, I can't remember if we've ever mentioned it on the podcast before, but if anyone's got any bright ideas for merch that they would buy, we're open to them. Like,
yeah,
the Live, Laugh, Love, probably the most successful piece of merch we've ever made, what came from a listener's idea from the meme contest. We are definitely happy to steal your ideas. Yeah.
And the only blanket that won't give your children nightmares. So
that's right.
Yes, very true. And the last bit of patron business this time around is we got another job title to give out. And looky here, we have another Sean here. I guess we're gonna have a conglomeration of Seans pretty quickly here.
It's like we're in Ireland or the East Coast.
Sean Gibbons has joined the office, and Sean Gibbons will be taking on the role of lead barista of the Black Cat Cafe. As anyone who's been at the company for long knows, the Black Cat Cafe is, of course, located on the 13th floor of the offices.
Mm-hmm. And there's just a bit of construction going on, so you just got to scoot under that ladder, and then you'll get right to the cafe.
Be sure to try out the Loiger latte. It's killer.
Yep.
Literally killer.
Yes.
Have your affairs in order.
And the Brown Jenkins brew is actually made out of Brown Jenkins.
All right.
I'm trying to think of some sort of like play on Dream Eater and pastry, but I don't know. It's a dreamy pastry you want to eat. It's the Dream Eater pastry. No? Okay.
We're just going to let you stew in that one for a while.
The Waking Night Muffin.
So good.
Anyway, we can workshop it. It's fine. Moving on to news. There's none. Scott, any rules?
Well, okay, wait. There is like the tiniest bit of news.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, pay attention in June for news coming.
Oh. So it's not so much news as it is the promise of future news.
Yeah,
it's pre-news.
Here is the announcement for the announcement.
Yeah, it was teaser news. So
yeah. Although technically it said for the Arkham Horror Files, so who knows if it's for the card game or something else. Who knows? We'll see.
Might not even be the best game in the Files universe. So.
Fair enough. All right, well, we'll check back in on that depending on what it is.
Keep on putting in the hashtag of the play and share.
Yes, there you go. Play and share.
There we go.
Let's get more things unlocked.
We know Arkham has done the heavy lifting on this one, so
Yeah. Scott, any rules PSAs?
No.
Do you want to just quickly repeat the one from last time in case people missed it? Because I feel like it's pretty important as we round out the cycle.
That one was for the last pack.
That's for Into the Maelstrom, right?
Into the Maelstrom, yeah. So the first the act. So the first act, so the tiniest of spoilers, not even. You're collecting clues, or you're collecting keys in an Innsmouth scenario. And the act says to advance when you have a certain amount of keys. And that was meant to be optional, not one of the, once you've hit this, you have to advance. It's meant to be, you can advance once you've hit this at least. So it's however many keys, I think it's like 4 or 5 or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyways, you have a certain amount of keys. You can choose to advance, or you can continue trying to get other keys. But the way it's written currently, it says you must advance. So MJ has clearly said it was meant to be you may advance, not a must. So, and said, please play it like that. Please play it like as a may. They're going to put out an FAQ. Like the next FAQ is going to have an errata for it. So,
seems important.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between the you must advance now versus press your luck and advance when you feel like it type scenario.
Right, yeah, like the press your luck part of it. And I haven't played the scenario, so I assume the more keys you have, probably the better. Or maybe it's a switcheroo and it's worse. But yeah, having that ability to continue to look is important, I think. So the May will be added next May. Thank you, JP.
Wow.
It's gonna be
wonderful.
May. Sorry.
Oh God, now it's in my head. All right. Well, guys, let's move on to the main topic then. Let's talk a little horror in high gear. Let's start out first with the player cards, if you will. Nick, enchant us with the first card.
Yes. Enchanted Armor. There we go. Got it. Enchanted Armor is a level 2 Guardian asset that costs 1 resource, has a will icon and an agility icon. Ritual and armor traded. Game text reads, play Enchanted Armor under the control of any investigator at your location. Forced. After damage and or horror is placed on Enchanted Armor, the owner of Enchanted Armor tests Will X, where X is the total amount of damage and horror on it. If the test fails, discard Enchanted Armor and assign the damage and or horror just placed on it elsewhere. It has asterisk, health and sanity, and it takes up the body and arcane slot. Interesting.
Speaking of push your luck.
Yeah, I love the design of this. I haven't actually included it yet. So I can't speak to how it plays.
My knee-jerk reaction was to put it in Diana.
Yeah.
Because she can get to willpower 6, which, I mean, if you're just putting 1 and 1, or just like, 2 damage or 2 horror, or a combination of the, in one burst, I mean, how many times are you going to fail that willpower test? I think rarely.
Yeah. It also seems a decent pull for Sister Mary, because I find as a Guardian, her 5 health can be quite the liability. So being able to help out in that kind of soaking region seems like a good thing.
Also seems like a really interesting rules PSA, here you go, about tests within tests. So if you had this in Mark, and let's say you took 2 horror and you put it on here, and then you're going to test the willpower, and then you put a damage on here to boost his willpower by 2, you would have to wait to put... you would have to test for that 1 damage, but it would be after the willpower test, because you can't have a test within a test anymore, so it has to wait till the end of the first test.
Weird.
Oh my... Okay, so don't play this in Mark.
Yeah, just put the damage just somewhere else. For Mark. There you go.
I think I just got a nosebleed.
That's because you failed your test for Enchanted Armor.
Is this the first instance of an asset that you can play under another investigator's control that takes up their slots?
I think so.
That's what I find the most interesting is that like I love that you can play this to another investigator, but the fact that it also takes up both their body and their arcane slot, which obviously depending on the build, those are going to be contested differently. Body arguably less so than arcane, but it's just something to think about. You know what I mean? Like when is the proper time to play this? Who is the proper target? That sort of thing.
Yeah, 2 slots is not
Right.
nothing, even though they're arguably marginal slots.
When your partner just got their flamethrower out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slap this bad boy down.
Zoe's rocking flamethrower and I don't know, some spell, and you're like, nope.
Yeah. Terrible.
So it's interesting to me with these kinds of effects, and I'd say with like damage and horror blocking effects or kind of fast healing effects, I kind of feel like the way to actually harness them is to play a little bit differently. To actually get like real value out of them, you kind of have to be a little bit more aggro and actually take damage and horror, being more aggressive than you would normally be, and then that's where these cards shine because they allow you to press harder than you would before. But I find quite often that even when I do include them, I tend to play kind of like I normally play and therefore don't derive the full value out of them. I don't know. They're interesting.
So are you saying that...
Do you guys kind of have that tension at all?
Well, I was going to say, are you saying that who's the better target for this? The weak Clover or the killer character? Are you arguing, like, is that what you're going for? Like, is it better to shore up your weakness with this or to protect the person who's going to be in harm's way anyway? Because I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think sometimes with these kind of abilities... Okay, so I guess backing it up, we talk about like sanity and health being resources to spend, right? And the encounter deck's going to pluck away at them. Some investigators are better at defending their health and sanity than others. But ultimately, they're resources to spend. And what cards like this do is give you additional resources to spend, essentially, right? Because they're blocking what you would normally be spending. So I feel like the way to actually derive value out of it is that you plan to spend those resources a little bit more aggressively, and therefore these blocking cards or healing cards end up giving you more tempo as you do it. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's no point here. I'm just talking about how.
But I mean, that's also something to think about too. Like, is it better to use this to shore up a weakness, or is it better to use it as a safeguard against the character who's already under fire? Like.
Right.
That's why I think you hit it on the head with Sister Mary, because she can kind of do both. Like, you can run Sister Mary to be a more aggressive character, and she also has that super low health. So I think that's the perfect target for this. And then, Diana, obviously, with that 6 will have it run for days. So.
Yeah, because I'm kind of imagining, like, I haven't tried this card out yet, but... Like when it came out, immediately I built a standalone Diana deck, which is just basically a get to 6 willpower and then really lean into that willpower to use like upgraded shrivelings and all this stuff. And it's like, oh no, I took a horror or 2 from a shriveling. Well, I'll just test against it and not take it. So it turns that shriveling downside into a nothing side. But I also found like you kind of have to was it Sign Magic? Just because this is taking up an arcane slot, if you're going to go hard on that willpower, you have to like give up your hand slots for arcane slots too. But
ooh, you know who this would be gnarly in is Parallel Agnes.
The 1990s servers. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know she can't directly take it, but if you could pair her with a partner that could give it to her, ooh, man. Ooh.
That's
I
pretty
must
gnarly.
explore this. Anyway,
what about Agnes and Diana team together? This would be like your dream team.
Oh, be still my heart.
What are you doing? You're feeding Sean right now. I definitely need to try this one as well. I'm putting this on my list. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering I like how it is, like I mentioned, a push your luck type thing where you kind of have to decide at what point you stop taking this risk, because if you have a big pile that you all of a sudden gets transferred to you, that's not good. So I'm wondering if the play is you just kind of have in mind at what point you're going to stop, and then you just like play something else to kick it out of the slot and just get rid of that damage and horror and have another soak ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you could try and do it so you fail when you just put a single damage on it. Like, maybe you've been committing cards, and now you just accept that you finally put like a 4th damage on it, and there's already 2 horror. So now you're testing 6, and you just don't commit anything hoping you're going to fail, because then just that 1 damage has to be assigned somewhere else. Like, you don't have to clear out the Enchanted Armor and put it on you. It's just the most recent damage that was assigned.
Yeah.
On it. So
you definitely want the big hit to go on first, and then you just kind of want to ping it as it goes on.
Yeah, like if you're playing what's the Witch House scenario? The one with Brown Jenkins.
Secret name.
Yeah, like let the big hits come, and then like one of the rats that just hits you for 1 damage, just let that one go through, right? Like, or don't try and cancel it with the willpower, and just accept that your Enchanted Armor is falling off now, and maybe play another one next turn to start.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe you're just always using it as kind of just a ping here and there, one at a time. Generally, there's not like big hits that come at you. Like if there was, you could really put it on here. But yeah, just kind of using it as a pressure valve. I think I like that approach.
Well, a card's design is interesting when none of us have played it, and yet we've talked about it for like 15 minutes. We should move on. Ian, I feel like you're the biggest champion of the next card. Do you want to bless us with it?
I will. Blessing of Isis is a Guardian asset, 2 cost, level 3, wild icon, ritual, and blessed traits. That crucial blessed trait there. Reaction: when a second blessed token is revealed during a single skill test at your location, exhaust Blessing of Isis, cancel that token, and treat it as if it were an Elder Sign token instead. Return both of those tokens to the Chaos Bag after this test ends. I like this one a lot. You have to build for it, obviously, but I ran this in my Bless Mateo build, and it's surprising how many times you can get it to go off once you have like a solid Bless build going. Like, it's not a rare occasion when you're revealing more than 1 Bless token on a single test.
Funny you mentioned that,
especially.
I have only played this in a Bless Mateo deck, and I have a very similar feeling where I'm like, wow, this works actually quite well without a whole lot of work trying to combo it. It's just, it happens.
Does it require Favor of the Sun to like really be consistent, or do you guys feel like it's totally fine without it?
I think it's fine without. Of course, Favor of the Sun makes it like even more kind of ridiculously consistent. But I played it before Favor even came out. Kind of the main enabler for me was Olive with Mateo, just to be plopping out, giving you better chances of getting multiple blessed tokens out.
I used Favor of the Sun just because I don't know. That's when I saw it. Like I like when Favor of the Sun came out, I'm like, okay, now I need to go back and like look back and really crank out a lot of the reward for revealing bless curse stuff. And that's when it really triggered for me. And yeah, it's just I draw a bless token. I'm like, do I want this to be an Elder Sign? Like, do I want the next token to essentially be an Elder Sign? If yes, then I'll use Favor of the Sun. So
it's really cool, and I think. Actually, I was about to say this, and now I'm not sure it's cool. But Guardians have some pretty decent Elder Sign effects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all right.
Okay, well, I see you guys are as lukewarm on committing to that idea as I was.
I'm just trying to run through them all.
They definitely don't stand... Most of them don't really stand out as like, ooh, that's an awesome Elder Sign, There's no, we don't have like a skids effect in Guardian.
I think, what if you, like, I could see this maybe if you tried to build like a Bless Zoe, that you could then get an Elder Sign for like when you're attacking, so that you do get that +1 damage, so her Elder Sign finally does something. because you know you never pull it when you're actually attacking. I think I've had that happen.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nice thing about Sister Mary's is you're just kind of feeding the bless machine if you get that elder sign.
Yeah.
The only thing about this card, and it's not a big thing, is it just makes me wish there was some kind of ritual tutoring, ritual fetching card, because I was like, the games where I didn't draw a blessing early, I was like, I could have got so much use out of this if I got it early in the game.
Yeah, and 3 experience, like, that's when you want to make sure you're seeing that card come out. And yeah, there's no way. Just gotta hope for it with this one.
Yeah. And it's expensive too. Like, it's 3 experience, but you probably want 2 copies. So it's 6 experience. But do you actually want to put do you actually want to see both copies? Because the amount of times you're actually going to pull this off twice in a turn is pretty low. And then are you actually playing out 2 copies? Like, it just.
I think 4.
I mean, at least it has a wild icon, I guess.
I think if you're doing 4-player Bless Curse Suite, is when you'd find space to get, even 3-player, you'd find space to get that second one out. But I think solo or 2-player, you're like, one's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Scott, you want to herald the next card for us?
Definitely.
Boy, do I. Cryptic Grimoire, Text of the Elder Herald. It is a 3-cost, 4 XP, Seeker asset, has an intellect and a wild icon. Item, tome, and curse traded. You can only include this asset in your deck by upgrading it from Cryptic Grimoire, untranslated, and only if you have translated the Grimoire is in your campaign log. Then reaction, after you resolve 1 or more curse tokens during a skill test, place that many secrets on Cryptic Grimoire. And reaction, when you play an insight event during your turn, spend 2 secrets. That event gains fast, reduce its cost by 1, and it takes up a hand slot. And it has as much game text as an actual tome in real life would have. Oh my god.
No doubt.
Almost
And
a cipher level.
Reminder, yeah. And a quick reminder to actually get this thing translated to begin with. The untranslated version requires you fill the bag with curses, right? You have to have all 10 in there to translate.
Well, and the 10th curse has to be from the Grimoire. It's a really weird, it has to be from that action.
You have to fill it using the Grimoire,
Well, you can fill it up to 9.
No, but I mean, I'm sorry, you have to cap it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, what do we think about the upgraded version? Is it worth that?
So
4 XP is not nothing, first of all.
No, and you have to charge it up.
That's strange solution, territory.
Yeah, unless you use shrewd analysis. So this thing is secrets, which is important because we've gotten a lot of secrets cards.
Sure.
And so I tried playing a couple standalones and cheating, essentially, by putting this in my deck with Daisy. Just to, I wanted to see how, if I could make a deck that utilized secret tech so much that it made the translating cost worth it. Do you just bomb the first scenario, or just have a team that's ready to deal with all the curses to have this out, and then use secrets to fill it instead of curses once you have the upgraded one? So forego most of your curse tech after that. And the one I was looking at was actually the other one, was the 5 secret one. Basically what I'm saying is, if you're trying to just fill it with secret tech cards, it's a bit tight, and it's a little bit labor intensive for what it does. But if you are also using curses in the bag, then you are getting, I found, quite a few secrets on this, and you're able to spend it willy-nilly, as the kids say. So...
Okay.
Yeah, I think the problem with this one for me is just that the other version that we're going to look at in a second catches my eye more, so it's hard for me to pay attention to this one. There's certainly a lot of secret inside events. What are the tempting targets for this one that would make you want to go through the effort?
Shortcut.
I've got a plan.
Shortcut.
It makes
I
them
heard somewhere
fast.
that's a really overrated card.
Well, it's fast and it costs 0.
Yeah.
So it just
No, I've got a plan would be great. 2 cost, fast.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to come up with ones that aren't already fast.
Burning the Midnight Oil is cool if you make it fast. You don't get
sure.
that 1 discount, but I mean,
How
here's
about
the thing. Go ahead.
how about that card that puts secrets on things? You can spend 2 secrets, play it for 1, it's fast, and then put 2 secrets back on.
Shut up.
You figured it out. That's what I was missing.
Yeah. Oh,
That's-
God.
Just a picture of the hamster spinning on the wheel.
I love how everyone but Nick was still trying to figure out if I was being serious for a moment.
That's when you literally I just have fun by moving cardboard around. And then I play Eidetic Memory
wasn't
to do
attractions.
Truth from Fiction again.
Yes! There it is.
Ugh.
That's the Galaxy Brain play.
Note that eidetic memory is not insight traded.
No, it isn't, but you can use it to do... It becomes a copy of Truth from Fiction,
Yeah.
which is insight traded.
Well, Preposterous Sketches, one of my favorite
Oh, sure.
cards. Yeah.
Sure.
God, what else?
Uh,
Vantage Point?
What's the... fuck. The No Stone Unturned.
Oh, yeah.
Cost
that's not bad.
1
That's
and
not bad.
fast. That's nice.
Unearth the Ancients, the card that
Shut up!
I mean, free and fast, that's a pretty okay card, though.
I mean, yeah. If you gotta be playing it already, though, and are you?
Yeah, well.
Well, in this deck...
Is there a lot of intersection between Relic and Curse play?
No.
No, I don't know.
That's the thing, you don't always have to be playing with a relic. I'm going to stop talking.
All right.
All right, well, since the other version is the more juicy one anyway, let's just get to that.
Okay, wait. Extensive research. Discovery
yeah.
Making that one fast.
So it only costs 11.
Just making it fast is, I think, that's
Fast and decreased by 1, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
so. So there's
Anyway,
some
so
targets.
the Cryptic Grimoire, the text of the Elder Guardian, has all of the same things except it has a willpower and an intellect icon. And its ability is when you would draw the top card of the encounter deck, spend 5 secrets, draw a card from your deck instead.
Now this is an effect I can get behind.
Yeah.
This was the one I was trying to break in my Daisy one. Like, I was like, oh, cute, insight cards. Anyways.
And like with all the
Yeah,
ways to cheat secrets around now, like you can fill this one up pretty quickly. You can get it to functional faster than what it would seem just from reading the card.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
in-
deck the deck that takes the Eldritch Sophist?
Yeah.
Yes, I have that in
totally.
there.
And
Okay.
Enraptured
Okay.
and Truth from
And
Fiction.
Also, forbidden knowledge, because it is 0 cost with 4
Yeah.
secrets, so it's really it's a
battery.
in Daisy. You can use it to move the it's a battery.
Really cheap one, too.
Yeah, and so you can also, instead of using Charisma with Eldritch Sophist, you can use the what's it called, the Grant, the Miskatonic.
Yeah. So you get
Archaeology
more of them. Yeah, that's totally what I'm going for with Daisy. I didn't do the Grimoire because I'm not doing curse play, but now I'm kind of thinking I should.
So in the 2 games I played where I tried to break this, well, not break it, but like, and I don't think that I should say this too. I don't think this card is breakable, at least currently. I think it's very good, but it does take a whole deck to kind of warp around it. It was like, I'd say about 40% of my encounter phases, or my Mythos phases, I was drawing my cards instead of the encounter deck.
That's pretty good.
Boy.
Yeah. So it was like I draw encounter card, my card, probably encounter, my card. Yeah, like 2 out of 5.
That's...
Ish.
I mean, in true solo, this is crazy impactful
Yes.
to just, like,
Yes.
put the fire of the encounter deck out from time to time.
Yep.
Love
and then I also included a couple like wards of protection. So like the ones I did draw, I'm like, no,
Just hang on.
just skip the Mythos.
I'm
phase.
not
Now
ready
I just
for you
need-
yet. You wait.
I just need a survivor to stop the doom landing on the on the agenda.
Fun.
So you're saying
And then I
Min.
need a rogue.
You're saying a Min deck, Seeker Survivor.
Oh.
Just shut down that whole side of the table.
Yeah. Oh, but Min can't take the higher leveled the survivor cards.
Yeah.
You know what we need is a survivor seeker.
Fortune or Fate is 2 XP or 3?
2. I'm pretty sure it's 2. And then but the Silas in a flannel shirt card.
Oh, Watchful Peace.
Yeah, that one's a 3.
Both Lord of the Rings cards, by the way. Drink.
Here comes
Double
my water
drink.
bottle.
All right.
Anyways, obviously the better one. Do we?
Yeah.
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 Very obviously.
It kind of reminds me of that, like, Deny 5, where not only are you getting rid of the bad thing, but you're swinging it your way by getting a positive benefit. So
Yeah.
I need
Super
to
solid.
make
Alright.
a build around this.
Yep, I will expect deck lists from you guys. I want to try this.
Okay.
All right. Nick, you want to hit us with the next one?
Riestrad
Sounds right.
is a rogue event that is it's a first level rogue event that costs 0 resources, has 2 combat icons. It is spell, spirit, cursed, traded, and its game text reads: fight. When you initiate this attack, add up to 3 curse tokens to the chaos bag. For each curse token added to the chaos bag in this way, you get +1 combat and deal +1 damage for this attack. I mean, sure, but you're only running this if you already have your curse stuff out, or you already have answers to curse tokens ready to go, right? Like, you don't run this on a naked combat check.
I don't know.
I think it might.
I do.
A 0 cost 1 XP can do 4 damage swing. Like, I'll just, in a vacuum, I would just be like, yeah, I'll take a few curses to just knock this enemy out with 1 action.
And only because someone mentioned him in chat. Like, you had Daddy Chuck. Now you're getting +5 combat,
boy.
and it's fast.
Well, sure, okay, but the Daddy Chuck
Okay, Daddy
argument,
Chuck-
you can add that to any card and it's good. Like,
Wait,
Yeah, that's true.
Daddy Chuck doesn't work on this, does he?
Oh, right. It's not a list.
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
It's tactic and trick is what he
right.
works with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think someone like Tony, right, who can just take a curse token on the chin. Like, you're not guaranteed to draw all 3.
that's true.
But
Like, this might be a way that Wendy finally takes a swing at something, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I've taken this in some of my rogues who aren't normally fighters, like, let's say, solo builds that are more, like, evade focus, and generally I won't have, like, a heavy focus on weapons. And so this is nice to have. It's kind of similar to, like, how I might build, like, a Seeker where it's mostly clue focused, but you need a few enemy answers, so you'll have,
Sure.
like, I've got a plan and some of the other Seeker events that deal damage. Like, I use this similarly where it's like you're able to boost your combat pretty high, even if you're starting combat as, like, 3, let's say, enough to take out something, and then the amount of damage and the 0 cost is the huge thing. Like, obviously the curse token is the real cost, but to be able to do that much damage for 0 is kind of huge.
I love the layaway plan that is the curse cost. It's like nothing up front, but you're going to pay an interest later. But I just absolutely love that because that's just so much how I play, where I'm like, I'm okay paying 0 for this currently, and I'll deal with the cost later. Yeah. I feel like maybe Finn, because I feel like Finn is such a, like, at least in the way I play him, is such a bang-bust investigator. It's like, I'm either going to destroy this test, or I am just at the whimsy of the chaos bag. And when you're going to destroy a test, usually 1 or 2 curse tokens doesn't change that fact.
Sure.
Yeah, I love drawing a curse token on a Finn willpower test. It's like, sure.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way here. I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
exactly, right?
I just think any single card where you can wipe out a 4 health enemy in a
Yeah,
single action,
that is some
you
serious
can't look
damage.
past that.
You're right.
And it is add up to 3 curse tokens,
Right.
right? So this is like super flexible. Like, do you just need to do 3 damage? Do you just need to do 1 extra damage because that's what you need in this moment, right?
Yeah, but at the same time,
This is
Rogue
like
has
Blood Eclipse, but
yeah.
go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
I was just gonna say at the same to counter what Scott's saying. At the same time, Rogue has so few options that just in one action 4 damage that I think if you're playing this for +1 damage, you're probably feeling not great about it.
No, but I think you put in your deck early in the scenario or early in the campaign because it's gonna pay dividends throughout,
That's true.
right? Like it's a good card. But there's just some scenarios where you won't need 4, or you're like Tony, where you're doing 10 or 12 damage in a turn over 6 actions.
Sure.
And you're okay. Like you just have to piecemeal damage out. I just like that it's flexible.
Yeah,
but I
totally.
do agree. Like the fact that you can just hammer out 4 damage is insanely good for 0 quote unquote cost.
Right.
Yeah. I love this card so much.
All right, Ian, you want to fix this up for our next card?
Yep, this is Tristan Botley. This is a cost 5 rogue asset, level 2, wild icon, ally, criminal, and curse traits. Reaction: after your turn begins, choose 2 skills. Until the start of your next turn, you get +1 to each of those skills. Reaction: after any skill test ends in which a total of 3 or more curse or bless tokens were revealed, play Tristan Botley from your hand at no cost, and 3 health and 2 sanity.
Oh my god. I totally forgot this guy existed.
You should point out too, this is Evan, the guy who used to run the FFG streams and stuff. Like Evan, the
Yep.
the I don't want to say marketer. What was he? Like the social media guy?
I think he was community manager, if I recall.
Community manager.
correctly.
Okay, yeah. This is his art card, and this is one of the first art cards where I looked at it. I'm like, oh hey, that's Evan.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh, the dog is also his dog. JP is saying so. That's cool.
Love it. So his ability with the skill boosting, it's cool that it's flexible and you can move it around. Can you choose the same skill twice on a single turn, or does it have to be different skills?
It says
I would assume since it says choose 2 skills. Yeah. It doesn't say add +1 to yeah. I think you have to choose 2.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah. At least I assume that's what's intended. But
Yeah, seems it's nice that it lasts until the start of your next turn, so you get that through the Mythos phase.
So I guess my question is, we have allies in Rogue at a similar XP cost that just give you two static stat boosts. And a really cool ability.
You're right.
So how valuable do you guys think it is to have the flexibility to move your stat boosts around for, rogues in particular?
I think it's 3 valuable. I don't know how to
Well, I mean,
because you're
when I first read Tristan, which was just now, because I totally forgot he existed, I was like, God, this is amazing. But it wasn't until you pointed out, Sean, you reminded me that Delilah and Lola exist, that I was like, okay, nope, now I see it. You only play Tristan if you're going heavy curse bless, because the fact that you can slap him, you can windmill slam him for free, after any test reveals 3 or more of either of those.
yeah.
Like that's where that second game text ability tells you why you take Tristan over Delilah or Lola. But even then,
Doesn't Dario give you 2 too? Sorry,
Dario only
Yeah.
fires if you have so much resources, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to have 10
Yeah.
resources.
but he does give you the 2 different ally or 2 different
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Willpower and intellect.
So I think that's because I think ignoring Bless and Curse, I would take Lola or Delilah every time. Either one over Tristan.
I think Tristan points to a very gambling, laissez-faire type deck build, or a chaos bag build where you have a whole team of people who are just throwing blesses and curses in the bag willy-nilly,
Right.
and Tristan's there to, one, get out for free because it'll probably happen. Because any skill test, so like in a 4-player game, that's going to happen so often. And two, like the flexibility of moving those skills around, where you have, like if you're building kind of a mid-range, like a flexible deck, I think that flexibility can't be understated for like adding your stats where they need to be for that turn.
Sure.
Yeah, I just
Hell. You could
cost.
preemptively give yourself willpower for next Mythos phase if you don't need, all you need is intellect this turn. That's not nothing for a rogue.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like this is primarily like a blurse play ally. I'm not sure if I would play him straight up for 5 in a normal situation because the other rogue allies are more tempting. So, and I think he's also more of like a charisma play where you have charisma, you have your kind of bread and butter ally, and you're hoping in blurs to get this guy out for free, and then you got double duty on potentially on whatever skill you're boosting, or you have that flexibility.
Also,
I haven't played him yet, but my knee-jerk reaction is he is fun. I just don't know if he's as good as Lola or Delilah.
right.
Like if you're gonna have a specific build and boost certain things, I don't know if he can fight them for those positions, but he seems super fun.
Pause.
Well,
This dude does not take up an ally slot. Did y'all miss that?
I did miss that.
I think it's a problem
Should
with the
he?
image. Yeah, I think the
Oh,
actual
is that it?
Tristan has
Arkham DB
an
as
ally
well.
slot.
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, wow. I was so excited.
That would have been a big turning point in this conversation.
Yeah, that would be a big difference.
Because
The old TSN turning point.
I
yeah.
was going to say, well, I mean, it's still valid what I was going to say, but think of how many tests, if you've played solo Curse, let's say just Curse, because Rogue doesn't have much going for Bless. How many tests have you pulled 3 Curse tokens out on one test in solo Curse play? Not many, right?
No.
You got to fill that bag to 10 curses and then hope to pull, so he is definitely, when the team is playing Bless, not even just your deck, like when you have multiple players putting both of those tokens in the bag. So I think he's a 4-player cutesy card. Now, the more
And
I
not
look
even
at it.
like it can't be someone's dabbling like, oh, I have a couple copies of Fuck
Right.
in bargain because it's just economically good. It's like, no, you have to be vomiting tokens into that
Yeah.
bag. like,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when
What
you
do you-
pair up with the Sister Mary player and just
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
blessed tokens are coming
just
out.
go ham. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about him in off-class rogues, like of the people who can access him who aren't, main class rogues?
See, that's what I thought first was Leo when I saw him.
Yeah, does Leo make sense where you could actually, if you don't get to windmill slam him from his ability, at least you pop him out for 4 and fast?
I still don't think he's worth 4 in Leo. Like, Leo has access to so many good allies already. He has access to all the same ones that Tristan's fighting for in Rogue, and he has access to all the Guardian ones. So I honestly don't think that, unless you're going for that windmill slam, I don't think he's worth it in Leo.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one. I'll take this one since it's the sole purple card in the pack. We have Curse of Aeons. Is a level 3 Mystic asset. It is 2 cost. It has a wild icon. It is ritual and cursed. Yeah, okay, quick aside. I was going to say this earlier. MJ, we have so much spell play for Mystics. Give us some ritual play. It's time. Reaction. When a second curse token is revealed during a single skill test at your location, exhaust Curse of Aeons, cancel that token, and treat it as if it were a skull token instead. You may choose to remove both of those tokens from the Chaos Bag after the test ends. So, while Blessing of Isis is pretty obviously great, because the Elder Sign is never, I mean, unless you're Daisy and you have your weakness out, I guess. The Elder Sign is never going to be something you're sad to see. There are many times I can think of for investigators who are not Jim, where, especially toward the end of a scenario where the skull is scaling really hard for some reason, like a skull is not something you want to see. I'd rather see the curse sometimes. So, I don't know where I sit on this one. Has anyone tried it?
No.
I put it in Jim
Yeah.
for a deck. And
Is it just a Jim card?
I mean...
That's the easy answer.
Yeah.
It is.
Tell me who else you're going to put it in. Here's the thing. So, if a second curse is revealed, like the third token I draw could be a 0, or do I just take the -5 on the skull currently? Like, I don't know. The skulls get just
they can.
obtuse, right? Later in the game.
Yeah.
So, I feel
And
like
it's scenario dependent. Sometimes they don't, but a lot of times they do.
Yeah. It's just... I don't know.
I mean, so there is something to be said. Wern just shared level 4 Sixth Sense. So there is something to be said, even if the modifier on the skull is really bad, if you're specifically playing with effects that target bad stuff tokens being pulled, there's an argument to be made there.
I don't feel like 3 XP and this card is worth trying to make Sixth Sense level 4, which is already a great card, work slightly better. You know, like it just...
Yeah.
I've tried it in Gym. It seemed okay. It was cute. I laughed a couple times. That's what I remember from the one game.
Isn't that what we want from all our cards?
I gave it a
Live,
hearty
laugh,
chuckle.
love. Never play the card again.
Live, laugh, love. Pull a skull token. Make it a 0.
I mean, this is one more card that goes into the theoretical Song of the Dead deck, but yeah. Otherwise.
That deck, it's gonna happen one day.
Every 2 cycles we get one card that helps it, so
2030 is gonna be an awesome year for Arkham.
Song of the Dead 2028.
Yeah. Song of the Dead OP, please tap in.
The second forbidden card.
Yeah. It's lukewarm.
Yeah, let's move on. But I do want to say, like, if there's a listener out there who has unlocked the secrets of Curse of Aeons and figured out how to make this awesome, I want to hear about it. Because I want to like this card, but it's not letting me yet. Scott, you want to take the next Silas card?
Yes, I do. Goodness. He's a good-looking man. So Unrelenting is a level 1 survivor skill with a wild icon. It is practiced. Max 1 per committed test. After you commit Unrelenting to a skill test, search the Chaos Bag for up to 3 non-auto-fail tokens of your choice, and seal them on Unrelenting. If all 3 tokens sealed on Unrelenting are +1, 0, Bless, and or Elder Sign tokens, draw 2 cards. Release all tokens sealed here after this test ends. I have this in my Silas deck, playing with Casey.
As you do.
And it's been pretty good because it is just really flexible as far as, like, am I taking something that I'm close on and I want to get rid of the -5s and the Elder things, or am I blowing this test away already and I don't really care about the +1 zeros or Elder signs and stuff.
And just to be clear for anyone who hasn't tried this out yet, this works with Silas's pullback ability exactly like you want it to, right?
Yes.
That's
amazing. So after you commit Unrelenting, you can search the Chaos Bag, blah blah, for all these things. So immediately, and then if all the tokens there, you then draw 2 cards. Then you pull your token from the bag, and then you can, if you want to, you can pull Unrelenting back to hand, and those tokens that were on it go back into the bag, but you don't redraw. You still have the card the token you've drawn.
Oh my god, I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
So once per turn, you can just lock out 3 tokens. Now, luckily, MJ had the foresight to put non-autofail tokens because holy shit, if you could lock out the autofail. So it's pretty good. And as Retro Daniel says, the brokenness of this card is unrelenting.
Can we just appreciate for a moment how rocked that deep one is getting? Like, it is completely off the ground. There's no part of it that's touching the boat. It has been hit so hard.
Yeet.
Yep.
Oh my god. This card's insane. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets another XP or 2 added to it. Like, if I could see this being a 3 XP card. I really could. It's so good.
Honestly, it's really, really good. I don't want to give MJ any ideas. I like good cards. I don't have to play it if it's too powerful. I don't have to play it.
I don't think it's like, I personally don't find it like, I'm saying broken as in the funny way. I don't actually think it's broken.
No.
And I will specifically say, like, Silas is an investigator who takes skill cards to the max, right?
Totally.
Like, he takes the ability of skill cards and breaks them, where this, in like any other investigator, is not unbelievable. It's pretty good. Like, it's a pretty good card, but Silas is the one that breaks it. So,
I mean,
to me,
Amanda can
compare
take
it to other level 1 survivor skills. You know what I mean? Like, the other one that I can think of is Stroke of Luck, and that's Exile.
And that's 2 XP.
Oh, it's 2. Never mind then.
Yeah. And like the other 1 XP ones are like Brute Force.
Oh yeah, Brute Force. Yeah.
The basic action suite.
Yeah, which
those are really
honestly,
good too.
I think in a vacuum are more powerful.
True,
than this.
very true.
But it's when you add Silas, that's when stuff like this begins.
So you heard it from Scott. Buff Unrelenting and nerf Brute Force.
Yep.
I don't want to give anyone ideas, but if anything is going to get adjusted, maybe it has to be Silas.
And
don't bring that hateful thought into this world, Scott.
I don't personally want it to happen. I'm just saying, like, unrelenting is not the problem. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
and it's not a problem.
A symptom.
At all. Like, just I don't think that this card is a problem. Even in Silas, it's very good, but he can only do it once per turn, and it's 1 test, and it's strong, absolutely. But that's his thing. It's like saying, Rex is really. Oh no, Rex got taboo.
He used the one example that's been taboo.
But it's like, Trish is evading all these enemies when she's finding clues. Well, yeah, of course she is. And Silas is taking all these skill cards and making them really good. Yeah, of course he is. That's the thing. Daisy's holding all these tomes. Yeah, of course she is. Like, it just... Yeah, so I don't think...
I don't think tome... I'm not gonna... Because I agree with you. I do.
Yeah.
Fantastic card, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
and even though Silas is kind of obviously the main target, I mean, he's in the art, but I haven't included this in other investigators, and it's still very good. Just especially the main way is those scenarios where the bad stuff tokens are terrible, and you can just seal them on here and not have to worry about them for a test.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to our... God, it was an episode way long ago we talked about playing on hard and expert and the switch over, and how sometimes the elder thing and the tablet and the cultists are so bad. Like, you'd rather, if you're gonna fail, I'd rather just the auto fail than fail with a token. And this can soften those blows a bit, right? Where it's like, if I have to fail, that's fine, but at least I'm not failing with these elder things. So.
Or if it's a really terrible test and you know you're failing anyway, or don't care, and would just like to see cards, then this kind of becomes almost like a sneaky half take heart.
Sure.
Amanda can take this, which I haven't even tried that, and I don't even want to do the math on it. It's probably good.
You could pull different tokens out for each test, so it becomes a very interesting card in Amanda.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So. Min
card.
as well.
Like
Retro Dimensionals Min.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah.
Double icons. All right, Nick, bring us home.
Signum Crucis.
With the sign of the cross.
Signum Crucis is a level 2 survivor skill card, so it's already better than Unrelenting. It has one wild icon. Practice and Bless traded. Game text reads, commit only to a skill test you are performing, and only if the difficulty of that test is higher than your base value. Calvin? After you commit Signum Crucis to a skill test, add X Bless tokens to the Chaos Bag. X is the difference between the test's difficulty and your base skill value. Yeah, Calvin, for sure, takes this. 100%. Because just like, bam.
Mateo can take it. Is that Mateo in the picture? I assume
Yeah, it looks like him.
Mateo. Yeah.
It looks like it. This is another one that Silas can pull back and still get blessed tokens from.
Ooh. Yeah.
Silas is 2244, right?
Yeah. Remind me, does Quick Learner modify the difficulty of tests during the Mythos phase, or is it only during your turn?
It's
Only
Mythos
during
phase
your
as
turn.
well. No, because
No,
it's
it's-
before or during your first turn, isn't it?
MJ was on our chat or our stream and clarified it's only during our turn.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't, like, with Silas, just every willpower test, take it at 1, add tokens, pull it back. Take the next willpower test at 1, add tokens, pull it back. All right, well,
Yeah.
still pretty good.
Yeah.
I kind of like this in conjunction with Drawing Thin. Like, if you're gonna pay XP for Drawing Thin, this just boosts the effectiveness there.
Yep, for sure. If you have multiple Drawing Thin, then it's just ridiculous.
Sean, you mentioned Preston, and yes, but I think it's if you're in a team and you're like playing no test Preston, and you're just like you're doing your things automatically, but oh no, a test in the Mythos phase comes up, you can add this to make the bag better for your friends, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because Preston in general is going to be sidestepping the Chaos Bag as often as he can anyway. But
yeah.
if you're adding to the whole.
But I guess, I mean, maybe you're solo Preston, and this sets it up so maybe occasionally you do pass a test that you have to test.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd spend the 2 XP for that reason, though. It would have to be for a team game, I think.
And I think, and this is having not actually played in this area at all, but I think that Preston probably wants to play more with curses anyway.
Yeah. You're going to fail anyways. You might as well pay the quote-unquote cost with curse tokens.
Yeah.
I like this in
right.
Calvin. That's more or less who I like it in.
It seems like it's gonna be the most consistent in Calvin.
Yeah.
I didn't use it in my Mateo Bless deck, but I could see using it. Like, in some ways, you just really have to focus in on that it's basically a Bless generator card in the sense that maybe you're throwing away an action on a throwaway test, like that you're not necessarily have a big chance of succeeding just to get the Bless token. So it's like, let me do a raw investigate test against this 5 shroud or whatever so I can get the Bless tokens.
Sure.
Even though you're probably not going to succeed.
But I mean, even
I think it also bears mentioning that if you're looking at a blessed deck, this is in the same faction as Ancient Covenant, which I think I would argue is probably the strongest of the covenants, because it's just like, oh, you drew blessed, all right, test done.
Yeah,
True.
that's true. Ancient Covenant is Bay. The best of the covenants, absolutely.
All right, wonderful little clutch of player cards there. Let's dive into the scenario. So, spoiler alert, we're going in deep, or fast, and furious.
We're going in high gear.
Too fast, too furious.
Or in high gear, Arkham Drift.
Oh boy!
In an Achievement Hunter episode, I
So
called
anyway.
it Arkham Ride Along, and I was like, that's it for me now. It's Ride Along. That's what it is.
So story-wise, this is on the current day timeline. This is with the Elena timeline, right? So, heading back to the lighthouse to retrieve your things, and you get chased, and we have our first Arkham side scroller. which I think is pretty fun.
I mean, yes, but I mean, I can get down this in the mechanics, but it felt a lot like Essex to me.
Sure,
But
I can see that.
Gotta go fast.
but a
Fair
better
comparison.
Essex, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not slamming Essex. I do like Essex.
Yeah.
It's just this is
Essex
yeah.
just didn't have the scrolling; it just had the side part of it.
Oh, it scrolled. It just the end fell off.
Yeah.
Right. It scrolled.
True, it
Yeah.
reverse scrolled.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, its main mechanics are just the road zooming past, the chase, trying to manage the cars through malfunctions and tight turns. Pretty fun scenario, in my opinion, in that regard. I think it kind of nails the theme of a car chase pretty well.
It really did. Like this, when my face check play was with Casey, and at the end of it, we were like, "Wow, this was really fun." Like it was, the vehicle mechanics felt like a vehicle should. Like it felt like a car. Whereas, like I know we talked about Devil Reef, where like the boat felt clunky, the car felt like a car. And it felt like I was actually driving down a road, and there was things chasing us, and they're, like you said, it was side scrolling. Like we'd get ahead of them, they'd catch up, we'd get a little more ahead. Like it was a car chase. It was excellent use of mechanics to get that feel.
Yeah, I think the big difference, what sets it apart from the boat, is the fact that it, the running mechanic, that the car just goes by itself at the end of the investigator phase. So in that way, it's compared to the boat, where you have to spend an action to pilot the damn thing to the next location. But with the car, you have the sense that it's gonna run no matter what you're doing unless you stop it, and then having to make sure you're getting enough clues off the location. The one thing I will say is I really want to play this one at higher player counts. I feel like there's probably more going on, because generally in solo and two-handed, like I've never stopped the car. Or I've never really had a compelling need to. Usually I'm just taking the penalty on the chin if I don't get enough clues, but I could see situations in multiplayer where you need to stop the car, and you have two different cars going on in that case. So
Casey, did you know that there's VP enemies in the deck? I didn't.
Well, funny story about that. Casey and I finished the game, and then we were chatting with MJ after. And it was only then we realized that there was ancient evils in the deck, because we didn't draw a single one. We did not see
sure is.
the entire game. And we ended the game, and we're like, we have so much time. Like we stopped one location from the end because we're like, there's a VP enemy in there. Let's get it. And just it came up. We killed it. We moved on. We won the game. It was very odd, but
I do also. I enjoy the return of the Terror of Devil Reef. I was actually really sad that I wasn't here for the Devil Reef episode, because I just want to point out that in Devil Reef I can never actually feel threatened by the Terror because of his really cute anime chibi eye. The art style on that card is just so endearing. He's such a cute little kraken. But his art in this one is actually terrifying, so now we're back to being scared.
good. What do you guys think of the two different vehicles?
They're the same, aren't they?
Difference between them?
Oh, sorry. I guess I was saying in two-player, would you take two vehicles? Was my question.
Oh, gotcha.
Or do you just pile in one?
Not if I'm playing. Not if I'm playing
in
two-handed.
one.
I just keep them on the same vehicle.
Yeah, I always carpool.
I was just making sure. I also carpool. Greenhouse gases and all.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I could understand taking two vehicles maybe if you've got something special going on and both investigators can really handle everything. Like they're super flexy. But no, I've always just taken the one.
I do wish that the cars were different. And Retro Daniels bring that up. Like somehow, like it would make your choice of car matter. Or if there's story implications, right? Like you get to the lighthouse and so-and-so's car had something in the trunk. And the two different cars had something in the trunk. Like, I wanted that to... And I remember Casey and I were like, oh, who should we take? Like, which car? Like, we were thinking about, like, which car we should take, and it ended up not mattering, which is a little sad.
Return to Innsmouth better have a motorcycle.
Yeah, add some more vehicles in there. Have a whole suite of vehicles.
God, take the vehicles from the enemies. Just GTA, Grand Theft Arkham.
Yes, Arkham Horror Fury Road. I'm all about that. Let's do it. I always take Alina.
I'm just gonna...
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna play the Fury Road soundtrack next time I play this.
There we go. Yes. I always take Alina's car because I'm Team Alina, and I don't care about Thomas Dawson.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I the one interesting thing is I had to double check I was playing it right at first because there's so many locations that are Road 1, which means you're only getting there's basically one location to travel to. And there wasn't as many of the kind of like Road 2s and 3s as I was originally expecting, because those are the ones that really put the pressure on, I think. And maybe it's best that there's not more, because then it might be too difficult, but because then you have to try to get clues to figure out which of the new locations is the right one to go to and which ones is the long way around.
Yeah, at the forks.
Yeah.
I will be very interested to play this scenario in 4-player because just kind of the mechanic where you need to clear the clues off the location before you move past it, or otherwise something bad happens. And I think for most of the locations, that bad thing happens to everyone in the car. So, like, if your clover fails you and you didn't stop the car, then everyone suffers. So I think it's going to be an interesting, and maybe it won't be that hard. I don't know, but I think it's going to be an interesting puzzle for the clover to like surge through grabbing clues on some of these locations, because the penalty for not doing it is really
God, and here I was thinking that in 4-player you might actually split up at some point, but I don't know if there's any incentive to do that.
That might be the case, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if there's any incentive to do that, because if you pop into a location and there's, 8 clues there, you might not be able to split up. You might need all hands on deck.
That's true. That's even more reason to stick together, I think.
Yeah. I think in 4-player there's going to be more car stopping. Like, that's going to be an
potentially
important mechanic. Like, I know in solo and 2-player, like, we'll only stop like maybe once, maybe twice. Like, once, probably twice, rarely. Because it
does take an action to turn off the car, right? Like, that's not nothing.
And and I mean the amount of clues it asks of you in solo or 2-player, like a normal clover can easily handle those amount of clues each turn, I think. Especially when you have to consider that they don't need to spend their actions moving. Like, they can just spend their actions clovering, because they don't need, let's say, shortcut. But they don't have to spend that one action to move to the next location. It's being done for them, so they have an extra action just to investigate normal. So yeah, clovers kind of get stronger in that sense. They can be more concentrated.
Yeah, I'm super excited to try this one out in 4-player. I feel like it's going to be a very different scenario.
Yeah, and you do, because of the nature of the scenario, like a lot of the enemies tend to spawn at the rearmost, and so once again in Innsmouth you get these murder ball of enemies. So so we can continue the Arkham Horror Fury Road. Someone really needs to take dynamite for this scenario.
Yes, I was just gonna say tossing dynamite out tossing the dynamite out the window, just boom.
And then it's a little less Fury Road and a little bit more Arkham Cart.
I'll take that too. We need some shells going.
Banana peel event.
This is one where actually with Finn, when I was playing, this is the last. I'm up to, this is the last one I played with Finn. This is where I got some use out of decoy to evade enemies at connecting locations.
That's nice.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Someone, it was in a chat a week ago or something. Someone was talking about this scenario, and they mentioned yet another way, Nick, that you're one of your favorite investigators, Luke, can break the game. Is playing barricade from a different location. So he hops, like he can just play barricade
Just
behind
drops
him,
a concrete
and then all the
barrier.
enemies just- yeah.
That's amazing. And wonderfully thematic.
It really is. Like, it's amazing. Yeah.
It's that meme of him in the car. You dumb bitch. I love Luke. I love him so much.
So any notable cards, encounter cards you guys want to call out from this one that kind of add the distinctive flavor?
Not Ancient Evils.
I think it's a location for me. The most memorable is Cliffside Road for sure.
Yes. Yep.
So this is the one where if you can't spin enough clues, you have to the driver has to test either will or agility.
Bumpy Ride and I Can't See.
And,
sorry. You're talking about Cliffside Road?
Yeah, Cliffside Road. And if you fail those tests, then not only does the vehicle get removed from the game, but each investigator takes 10 damage. So I did have a fail on this with Sister Mary and Amanda, who they were like just destroying the scenario. They were doing so well. They got to this one. For whatever reason, I can't remember what happened, but they weren't able to get enough clues. And so I had, I think I had Sister Mary take a will test, and she was like pretty high up on her will. And I think I was only short like a clue, so it was up by 6 or something. And guess what I drew for the token?
Auto fail.
No.
And off they went to their deaths.
That's a regular. Who is it? What, Thelma and Louise? Is that what that? They
held hands all the way down.
It's interesting. I think willpower and agility are some of the higher tested skills in this scenario, because you also have Bumpy Ride and I Can't See, where if you're not in a vehicle, you have to test 5 of either. And if you fail, you just take a flat 3 or 3 damage. Oof. Which is just, like, it's not even a fail by. It's just, if you, like, get 1 below, and then if you're in a vehicle, the driver has to test that. And everyone in the vehicle, if it fails, they take 2 of either horror or, like, who you pick as driver.
There's some rough treacheries.
Yeah, who you pick as driver is really important.
Which investigators
So
have...
Safina.
Yeah, I was going to say Safina. Is that... Who else has high will and high agility? Wendy.
Oh.
Wendy is a good driver!
She's one of the best drivers.
Orphan, take the wheel.
If you want a real rogue experience, take Winnie. I mean, you want the bang bust?
Yeah,
all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Just
wait,
wait till a survivor is doing this test and then just exhausts their drawing thin and gives you the eyebrow waggle.
It's going to be an interesting discussion to have for Iron Man is who gets to drive.
Yeah.
Shotgun.
Well, I think it's going to have to be something we plan for, right? Like, it's...
Yeah.
Okay, who... Like, when we're even just bringing our decks together, like, or choosing our investigators, is we need 2 drivers. Because this scenario can just knock you out quick if you don't have 2 good drivers. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we can do road trip hot seat in game.
Yeah.
Wendy's gonna need a car seat. It's like Regina Daniel.
She's that's you have to bring Grimm's fairy tale so she has a book she can sit on.
Yeah. It's like, I can't reach the pedals. I need the brick asset.
And track shoes with long cleats to reach the pedals.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about resolutions, this one's pretty straightforward. You either make it to Falcon Point or you don't.
It's very Essex.
Yep.
Because that's what Essex is, right? Like, you either get sucked up or you don't. But yeah.
And then you're on to Light in the Fog.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I
Fun scenario. I'm very, very positive on this one. Like, you know how a lot of campaigns kind of have that mid-campaign slump? Like, when I hit this one, I'm like, all right, fun, here we go.
Yeah.
Fast-paced, stressful.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites in the campaign, despite the fact that it's such a a simple scenario, really, right? Like, there's a line, go down it, get to the end, don't let the enemies get you. And the resolutions are very simple. Either you did or you didn't. But for some reason, just how it flows, and it's so simple, and at its core, a race. And it feels like a race, and there's a car that you're racing. Yeah, it just, like, 10 out of 10, fantastic.
Yeah, this is one I'm always looking forward to playing. My first play of it was actually a little underwhelming, but it was Trisha's fault, and this time it was Trisha's fault for doing too good because I had Lola going and everything was on fire, so I was just like gathering clues and blasting through, and there was never any pressure on me. But with the other investigators after that, I've had much more interesting runs, so I'm always happy when this one comes up in my campaigns. The one thing we didn't talk about is there's that action on the vehicle to like pedal to the metal and drive faster in exchange for an encounter card. How often do you guys find yourself using that?
I have
I think maybe once, and then I shortly after determined that it wasn't worth it.
Did it once and you drew bumpy ride and you're like, nope, never again.
Yeah, I forget. It was something like I did it once to get out of the reach of an enemy, but I drew something where I was like, well, I should have just taken the enemy. Like, I don't think that... Yeah, I don't think it was worth it.
Yeah, I've done it with a couple times. I'm trying to remember who I was doing it with. But in general, I think the thing is the doom clock for the scenario isn't that intense that you feel compelled like you have to use it. But
if you're maintaining a steady pace, the doom clock is not terrible.
Yeah.
You know, like if you are clearing out all the clues and getting to peek ahead, like if you don't hit a long way around the entire game, the doom clock is not an issue. I found.
Yeah, it just goes back to as long as you're getting
draw
the clues.
Single Ancient Evils.
Well, but even in the ones I've played, I've gotten Ancient Evils. It's like the long ways around are what add the doom pain.
Yeah.
Like,
see, maybe that's where 3 or 4 player where you draw more of those Ancient Evils more often than.
Yeah, I think
I'm not sure.
You have to be okay with stopping the car.
Yeah.
If you're instead of getting a long way around, I'd rather stop than long way around.
Maybe in multiplayer, we'll be using that action to more because we'll be racing our cars against each other. Whoever can make it to the finish first.
Yeah. Gets a free beer.
Get some side action for Iron Man. Have everyone place bets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get to the finish first, and then toss your dynamite back to the car park.
Blue shell, motherfucker. All right, wonderful. Well, that's that scenario. As we said, next time we're going to be talking about what cards you've changed your mind on. So make sure you get in your calls for that. We'll remind you really quickly here before we move it into some tentacle time. Boys, what's been grabbing you? Scott?
Ooh, okay. I've been working a lot because my province is going through... Like, I've been doing, like, 60 to 70-hour weeks, so my free time has been, like, nothing. But, let's see. I've been playing a lot of Slay the Spire on my phone, and I have an unending run. So, like, one where, like, when you beat it, you just go back to the beginning, but it just gets a little bit harder, and you see how far you can go. And a normal game is like, I think it's like 48 floors or something like that. And I'm at 600 and something floors right now. Like, I've been playing it for a couple days. And it's to the point where I have everything tweaked. And now I'm like, I'm not sure if anything can defeat me. Obviously now with my hubris saying that, my next game I'm going to lose. But, yeah, Slay the Spire. God. What's your deck like? It's the orb guy, the defect, I think. And he just makes all the lightning orbs, like, in the first turn. Like, there's many enemies I'm killing on the first turn, and they don't even get a crackback. Yeah, I'll post a picture in the chat when it's not my turn to chat, from my phone or something.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and my new computer that I have purchased is at my house, and I have yet to set it up because I don't have time. But I'm so excited to play Kerbal Space Program and possibly Apex as well with Casey and MJ and Brandon from Optimal Play, because they were playing, and I was like, man, I should do that.
You should look to see if Sea of Thieves appeals to you at all, because
I would play the
Nick and I
Yes.
played with the group. What's that?
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I'll play Pirates. Absolutely. I just have to find time to literally plug in my computer.
Sean, I feel like I got the full
well.
Sea of Thieves experience the last time we played.
Oh, are you already done?
No, seriously, like we played for like 3 hours, and in that 3 hours, it felt
really
like
good.
it was a lot of fun. I'm not saying it wasn't fun, but I feel like I look back on it and I'm like, what did we not do? Like, we got treasure, we fought
there's so
skeletons, we fucked up sailing around a lot, and then we burned the ship down at the end. Like, what more is there?
Well, I understand. There is a lot.
Okay.
There's high end stuff, like once you actually get your ship upgraded, and yeah. But anyway, really fun game. I guess that'll be my tentacle time. I think I've mentioned it before, but yeah, Sea of Thieves I've been dipping into a little bit. Nick and I got together with a couple friends and had a real fun night with it. Yeah, solid little game. So Scott, if that does appeal to you, let's hook it up.
Yeah, I've seen like videos of Sea of Thieves, and it does. And I think it came out. How long ago did it come out?
Like a year ago.
A couple of years,
Year?
I think. Yeah.
I feel like I just never got around to like downloading it on my Xbox, and I wasn't sure my
Mm-hmm.
computer could play it, although it probably could. But then I went, moved house and like all this other stuff. So now I'm like ready. I'm getting ready to game again, and it is definitely on my list. If I'm playing with you guys, 100% I'll play it.
Oh yeah, like you must play it multiplayer.
Yeah,
you
I
can
assume.
solo it.
I did do a couple
I-
of like 2 hours solo sessions after we played our 4-player game, and it was it was fine, but it's definitely like you're getting a fraction of the experience.
Yeah. Ian, how about you?
Well, Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out, and I haven't yet cracked into it yet. I haven't had a chance, but hopefully soon. So that'll probably be the next 10 tentacle times for me once I do.
I'll be hitting start new campaign after we finish recording.
Ooh, yeah. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to start. Anyone who's listened to the podcast for a long time knows a few of us just love Mass Effect. That's one of the properties. If they made an LCG on that, I would start another podcast on that, like no questions asked, just immediately.
Yep.
But anyway, one game I have been playing is, I talked about a kind of like roguelite deck builder last time, and I'm going to be talking about a different one this time because apparently I've been dipping into the genre. So this one, though, that I've been waiting for a while, and it's entered early access now. And sometimes I don't really like jumping into early access. I'm like, I'll just wait till the polish thing is done. But this one I was excited enough for that I wanted to try. So this one is called Fights in Tight Spaces, and this
I
is...
just downloaded the demo for that.
Oh, you just downloaded it?
I just downloaded the prologue for it.
Yeah. Fights in Tight Spaces is... You can think kind of the Slay the Spire type, where you're building your deck as you go along. You're running a path through a map and trying to see how far you can get, or if you can be successful in upgrading your deck. But the theme is different for this one, because usually most of all these games are fantasy themed, like 90%. This one is like action fighting movie themed, which is a genre I love, but usually never gets any love in the tabletop gaming spaces. There's only a few games that I can think of. So in this one, each level you're essentially on a map, and it might be a bar or a bathroom or like an alleyway, and you're surrounded by a group of goons with various abilities. One might have like armor and a blowtorch. Some might have guns or crowbars. And you just basically need to defeat them all and beat them up. So your cards are things like punches and spin kicks and dodges. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, not only because of the genre, but there's some fun stuff going on, where you can see what the enemy action is. So if an enemy has their kind of line of sight ready, they're going to shoot. What you can do is do a move where you like shove an enemy into the path of the gun, and then the gun hits them instead. So anyway, the positioning is really fun. The card play is fun. I haven't gotten a chance to play a ton of it, so I'm not sure how much legs and like variability it has, but I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you like kind of that like fighting movie genre.
Sounds a lot like Super Hot.
Yeah, the graphics are very similar to Super Hot. And you can even watch replays of each scene afterwards if you want to see. Like,
nice.
I am downloading it right now.
Yep. Okay. Well, I had my friend Brian suggested it to me, so I downloaded the prologue and I've been sitting on it. But now that I have a second recommendation, I must.
Yeah,
I must.
This sounds right up my alley. I'm gonna. What's it called? Fights in tight spaces.
Fights in tight spaces, which I have to look up every time because I keep wanting to say fights in tight places. It's tight spaces instead.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Nick, how about you? Bring us on.
What have I been doing? I'm still working on Platinum Bloodborne. I'm like 2 achievements away. One of which is the Chalice Dungeon one. Ugh.
Yup.
I have to beat Lawrence because I've never fought Lawrence, and I have to get to. Oh no, I have 3: Lawrence, Yarnum, and one of the endings I'm missing. So, but I kind of fell off that because the last couple weeks, I've been back in community theater. Our show opens this week. It is Art by Yasmina Riza. Very excited for that. And also, assuming this episode goes out on Tuesday, or at least before Wednesday, there's a chance that you could watch me perform on stage, because we are live streaming all 4 performances of this play. I'll have the link in the show notes if anyone is interested in checking it out, buying online tickets to watch. But opening night is Wednesday, and we're running Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. You have to watch at those times. There's no video on demand. It is just at those times, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it's me and 2 other very, very talented actors, local actors. And the play art is, it's amazing. It's Yasmina Riza is also the playwright who did God of Carnage. So if you're familiar with that one, one of these 3 friends buys a piece of art for $200,000, and it's a totally white canvas with white lines on it. And then the play just kind of explores what that one act does to how that becomes like a catalyst for this sudden change in the nature of their relationship and what's said and everything. It's hilarious. It's very human. I love the script. It's awesome. So I would love it if you would check that out and watch. And that's going to you guys, my fellow hosts, even more so, but also to anyone who is listening to this right now. So like I said, I'll get that link in the show notes. I'll even pop it in Discord here.
I'll be there. I think I've caught most of your shows. I try to make it to both yours and my brother's, because you 2 are the thespians in my life. It's fun stuff.
Nick, I should also throw out, because I just remembered this, I also started playing Tharsis.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, and as soon as the cannibalism option came up, I was like, well, yeah, that seems obvious. And then I ran out of... I didn't realize you could only use it 3 times. I was like,
yeah,
well, human bodies are quite big. I'm like, who... Are you kidding me? Yeah, that game is just wow.
It's fun, and in like 20 minutes you can play, like, once you get the rhythm and everything, in like 20 minutes you can play 2 or 3 rounds of it. It's really fun, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, anyone who hasn't played Tharsis, dice rolling survival space game with terrible human decisions that you have to make sometimes.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Like cannibalism, which I always take in video games.
Have you unlocked the cannibal role yet?
I don't think so.
There's a character, because like there's different characters that have like this one's the captain, this one's the engineer, that sort of thing. Yeah. You can get the cannibal, which I think you have to do cannibalism so many times to get him, and then when you do, it's just he doesn't suffer as bad of penalties for doing cannibalism as everyone else does. So it's like,
oh, that sounds great.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Efficient.
Can I make a whole spaceship of cannibals? Doesn't even make it to the launch pad. Anyways. Okay. Sean?
All right. What?
Did you already do your?
I did. Yeah, Sea of Thieves. I think the only other big
yeah.
thing that I've been spending my time with that's not Arkham is getting caught up in Dark Souls 1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I've been having a good time with that. I'm just playing Pyromancer because I'm a basic bitch. But it's been fun. It's been fun. I started out with Dark Souls because, well, I started out with Bloodborne, then I went to Dark Souls 3, and then I did Sekiro. And now I'm back to Dark Souls 1. And at first it felt really clunky, but now I'm kind of like super into it. And the fact that the parry mechanic actually kind of works in Dark Souls 1 compared to Dark Souls 3 is nice. Yeah, having a good time with it.
Where are you at in DS1?
I just got the Lord Vessel, so I'm working on getting the Lord Souls.
Nice. Have fun with the Four Kings.
Yep, so... Yeah,
I hit 2 walls
and told things.
Yeah, I hit 2 walls in that game, and they were Capra Demon and the Four Kings. Four Kings is just DPS race.
Oh god, Capra Demon is so dumb. Anyway, yeah, Dark Souls. So go ahead and it has been 0 episodes since we made a Dark Souls / Bloodborne reference. Go ahead and mark it off in the offices. Thank you everyone for joining us on episode 105. Be sure to get your calls in right quick. If you want to be in on our discussion topic for next time, and check out March to Madness. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.